Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Movesets video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the new Pokemon Necrozma, so let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Necrozma is a new Psychic-type Pokemon introduced into Pokemon Sun and Moon, and in possession of a new ability in the form of Prism Armor, but it's actually more of a new-ish ability in the fact that it's actually the exact same function as the Solid Rock and Filter abilities, in that it allows this Pokemon to reduce the damage of super effective attacks by 25%. But defensively, this Pokemon is fairly well built with a base 97 HP stat, 101 defense stat, and 89 special defense stat. And these defenses, combined with its Prism Armor ability, allow this Pokemon effectively to take hits very well. It also has boosting moves to enhance both its physical defense and its special defense to allow it to be even more of a defensive Pokemon if you would like to use it as such. As for its offenses, this Pokemon has a base 107 physical attack and a 127 special attack, allowing it to be very effective as both a physical and special attacker, and like with its other stats, it also has boosting moves to correspond to those to enhance its abilities even further. Finally, this Pokemon has a base 79 speed stat, which is a little bit on the average to slower end of things, so this Pokemon by itself is not going to be outspeeding a ton of things. However, if you have noticed a trend already, this Pokemon also has access to a move to boost its speed stat, giving this Pokemon incredible versatility in the sets that it can run. So with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to begin by giving Necrozma either a timid nature to boost its speed but lower its physical attack, or a modest nature to boost its special attack but lower its physical attack. And then going with an EV spread of 252 special attack EVs, 4 special defense EVs, and 252 speed EVs to give it its maximum special attack and speed possible. As for the item, we can either go with the choice specs to boost its special attack considerably, a choice scarf to boost its speed, a life orb to boost the damage of all of its attacks at the cost of losing 10% of our health every time we damage an opponent, an expert belt to boost the power of super effective moves, an assault vest to enhance this Pokemon's special defense further, leftovers to allow it to recover HP at the end of every turn, or a Z crystal to correspond to one type of attack on the set to give this Pokemon a one-time only super powerful move of that type. But for the moves, our main Psychic type stab on this special attacking set is going to come in the form of Psychic or Psyshock, obviously Psychic being the stronger option that hits your opponent's special defense, whereas Psyshock is a little bit weaker and hits your opponent's physical defense instead. Then for additional coverage, we're going to be running Dark Pulse, which will allow this Pokemon an easier way of matching up against opposing Psychic types that could easily resist its own Psychic stab, and then running Power Gem in the third move slot, just to give this Pokemon some interesting additional type coverage, also allowing it to match up a little bit better against opposing Bug types that could easily threaten this Pokemon out with a super effective move. Finally, for more type coverage, we're going to run either Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Ground, or Charge Beam to allow this Pokemon a little bit of an easier way to deal with Steel types in the form of Hidden Power Fire or Hidden Power Ground, or allow it as a way to boost its special attack further through the use of Charge Beam while also having a decently powerful Electric type move to make use of. Now additionally, we can also run this set as a boosting attacking set for this Pokemon to make use of. So again, we're going to be going with the same nature, EV spread, similar item choices, and almost the exact same move set, but the only thing that we're changing is we're going to be including Power Gem, Hidden Power Fire, or Hidden Power Ground as your option for your third move slot to give this Pokemon as much type coverage as you want to, and then for the last attack, running a boosting move, this time in the form of either Rock Polish or Calm Mind. Rock Polish to boost your speed by 2 stages, whereas Calm Mind will actually be boosting your special attack and your special defense by 1 stage apiece every time you go for it, thus enhancing your offensive and your defensive capabilities. But both of these options allow this Pokemon to effectively run a very powerful boosting set to make use of. Now additionally, we can also make use of Necrozma under the effects of Trick Room using almost the exact same set as well. But this time we're going to change up the nature to be a Quiet nature to boost your special attack but lower your speed, and then change up your EV spread to include 252 HP EVs, 252 special attack EVs, and 4 special defense EVs. Then on this set, as far as the moves are concerned, all that we're going to do is switch out what was just Rock Polish and Calm Mind for Trick Room to allow this Pokemon to set up a Trick Room, twisting the dimensions, and then making the slower Pokemon the faster ones on the battlefield. As for a more bulky boosting set though, we can run this particular one, starting off by giving Necrozma a bold nature to increase its physical defense but lower its physical attack, and then running an EV spread of 236 HP EVs, 252 defense EVs, and 20 speed EVs to give this Pokemon enough speed to outspeed the base 80 speed Pokemon it falls just short of outspeeding. As for the item on this set though, since we're running it a little bit more bulky, we're going to be going with leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover HP at the end of every turn. But on this particular moveset, again, the boosting move of choice is going to be Calm Mind as a way to boost our special attack and our special defense by one stage, and then going with Psychic or Psyshock to be our main stab Psychic type move. Then for coverage, we're going to run either Dark Pulse or Hidden Power Fighting to allow this Pokemon to have a reliable way to deal with opposing Pokemon that would typically give it trouble on a boosting defensive set like this one, Dark Pulse being particularly effective against opposing Psychic type Pokemon that could easily resist your Psychic stabs, and HP Fighting being particularly useful against Dark types that would obviously be immune to your Psychic type stab. As for your last option, we could run the set with 3 attacks, putting Hidden Power Fighting in the last move slot, or we can allow this Pokemon a little bit of an easier way of keeping its HP high while it attempts to set up and acquire more boosts by running Moonlight to allow this Pokemon essentially to heal up 50% of its health, barring the weather that's on the battlefield. Additionally, this Pokemon has access to Morning Sun, which does the exact same thing as Moonlight, so if you prefer Morning Sun, if it's like an animation thing, go for it, but both the moves have the same exact effect. But furthermore, we can even combine a similar moveset and use even more boosting moves to take advantage of the fact that Necrozma is a very fortunate Psychic type Pokemon with its access to the unique Stored Power move. So again, Bold Nature with the same EV spread and the same item, and for our boosting move of choice, we're still going to be going with Calm Mind to allow this Pokemon to boost its special attack and special defense by one stage. But as mentioned a second ago, Stored Power is going to be our Psychic type attack of choice, which by itself is normally just a 20 base power move, but with each stat boost you acquire, it increases the power of this attack by another 20 points. Now, the cool thing about Necrozma, obviously, is that it has a ton of boosting moves, so in addition to Calm Mind and Stored Power, you can run a second boosting option in the form of Rock Polish or Iron Defense to allow this Pokemon to boost its physical defense further or its speed further, thus allowing it to be very fast and also very powerful after you've acquired a couple of boosts. Also keeping in mind that this Pokemon with its Prism Armor ability allows it a lot easier of a setup time than most other Stored Power Pokemon because it's reducing the damage of super effective attacks directed at it. But if you want to run additional coverage, if your opponent does have a Dark type, you obviously want to go with Hidden Power Fighting here to allow you a way to hit those Dark types super effectively. As for a last attack, we could run 3 boosting options if you want to, with Calm Mind, Iron Defense, and Rock Polish if you want to go crazy there, or run Calm Mind, Hidden Power Fighting as your third option, and then Rock Polish here to give you dual type coverage. It's Stored Power and Hidden Power Fighting, but the speed that you could get from Rock Polish, or just running Moonlight in this last move slot to allow this Pokemon to recover HP while it attempts to set up and acquire a ridiculous amount of stat boosts to then enhance the power of Stored Power even further. But overall, this set is probably one of Necrozma's most deadly sets that it can run, and it's even more powerful if you actually are using this Pokemon with something with access to Baton Pass, so that it could pass over some boosts already and then make Necrozma's setup job a lot easier. Now on the more physical side of things, we have the next couple sets, which for this one is going to start off by giving this Pokemon either a Jolly Nature to boost its speed but lower its special attack, or an Adamant Nature to boost its physical attack but lower its special attack. And then for the EVs this time around, we're going to put 252 into its physical attack, 4 into its special defense, and then 252 EVs into its speed stat to give it its maximum physical attack and speed stat possible. And as for the item, we're either going to go with a Choice Band to boost your physical attack power, a Choice Scarf to boost your speed, a Life Orb to boost this Pokemon's power on all of its attacks at the cost of losing 10% of its health every time you damage your opponent, an Expert Belt to boost the power of super effective moves, an Assault Vest to allow this Pokemon to boost its special defense further, Leftovers to allow it to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, or a Z Crystal to give you a one-time super powerful move of any type of attack that corresponds to the Z Crystal that you are using. But for the moves, since this is a physical set, Our first one that we're going to be going with is going to be Psycho Cut to be our main stab physical psychic type move. And then running the awesome Edge Quake combo to give us Pokemon some pretty fantastic type coverage overall. As for the last move, it's going to be largely what you want to use for some additional type coverage. X-Scissor is a particularly good option because it allows you to hit opposing Psychic and Dark types super effectively that would easily handle your Psychic type stab. However, Shadow Claw could also give you a little bit of an easier time against opposing Ghost types, as well as also those Psychic type Pokemon previously mentioned. As for a last option, you could also run Smart Strike to give this Pokemon a pretty powerful Steel type move to make use of, potentially allowing it an easier time against opposing Fairy type Pokemon that you might be matched up against. But like previously with the special attacking set that I showed, we can also run the same kind of boosting physical attacking set that will allow this Pokemon a way of enhancing its offensive capabilities with physical moves. So again, we're going to be going with the same nature, the same EVs, and similar item choices with really the same 3 moves, including X-Scissor in the 3rd move slot if you would like to use that over Stone Edge. But for your last move, you're either going to want to go with Rock Polish to boost your speed by 2 stages, or Swords Dance to give this Pokemon a way to boost its physical attack by 2 stages, thus making it even more threatening with its physical attacks. As for the next couple of movesets, we're going to be running some EV spreads and moves to highlight this Pokemon's defensive capabilities. So for this first one, we're going to start by giving it either a Careful Nature to boost its special defense but lower its special attack, or a Calm Nature to boost its special defense but lower its physical attack. And then running a mixed defensive EV spread of 252 HP EVs, 108 defense EVs, 112 special defense EVs, and 16 speed EVs to give this Pokemon its maximum mixed bulk possible, as well as enough speed to outspeed base 80 Pokemon it falls just short of outspeeding. And since this is a more defensive set, we're going to be going with the Leftovers item to allow this Pokemon to recover HP at the end of every turn. But for the first move on this set, we're going to be making use of Stealth Rock, which is a really interesting option that this Pokemon has access to, as there are not really many other mono Psychic type Pokemon like this guy that have access to this. But this is going to be essential for allowing this Pokemon to set up hazards on your opponent's side of the field and make it so that they take damage every single time they switch in. As for your next attack, this is largely dependent upon if you want to use Necrozma as a physical attacking or special attacking defensive Pokemon. Psycho Cut will be your physical option, which you would use in combination with the Careful Nature, whereas Psychic and Psyshock are your special attacking options, which then you would use in combination with the Calm Nature. But for your third attack, we're either going to run Thunder Wave as a way to paralyze your opponent, crippling their speed and making it so that they occasionally do not attack, Toxic as a way to slowly wear down opponents in increasing amounts at the end of every turn, or running Trick Room in this 3rd move slot to allow Necrozma to be one of the best, in my opinion, new Pokemon to set up Trick Room, which is a really cool thing that this Pokemon is going for it because of how ridiculously bulky it is, and also the extra utility it gets through having access to Stealth Rock. Furthermore, you can also enhance its ability to last for a long time as a Trick Room setter because of this Pokemon's access to recovery through the use of Moonlight and also Morning Sun. But for the last move, that is what we're going to be going with regardless of what you use for the 3rd move slot, because it's going to allow Necrozma a reliable way to last for a very long time in battle and prove its worth as a really great defensive Pokemon for your team. As for this last moveset, we're again going to be running Necrozma defensively, but this time as a dual screener. So we're going to go with the same nature and EV spread and similar items, but this time we're also going to add the Light Clay item to allow this Pokemon to extend the turns of the first 2 moves on the set, Reflect and Light Screen, from 5 to 8, thus enhancing your team's ability to take both physical and special hits for a longer period of time. As for your 3rd move, then we're going to be going with a Stab Psychic type attack on the special or physical side, Psychic and Psyshock obviously being the special options, whereas Psycho Cut is the physical option, and then for the last move, running either Moonlight to give this Pokemon a reliable way to recover its health, or, again, including Trick Room as an option for this Pokemon to make use of in order to support a Trick Room team by first setting up screens and then setting up a Trick Room and then switching out into whatever you have for your Trick Room team, basically allowing it an easy way of switching in because of the screens being up. And this is a really cool other way to run this Pokemon because of its access to all of these unique moves and allows it to be a very effective Pokemon on really any team that would like the support of not having to take as much damage from both physical and special attacks for a very long time. But anyways, everybody, that is it for Necrozma, one of possibly the most unique and interesting Pokemon in the new 7th Gen games. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.